Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and today we're going to take a look at our Game Week 36 highest predicted points team, of course based on DraftHound's predicted points model. Now in this team we're of course going to see quite a number of Double Gameweek players, 6 Double Gameweek players to be exact, and I'm recording this just after the Brighton game where they lost to Everton 5-1, so that may change our perspectives a little bit, but this predicted points model is updated to the latest results. So let's see what the model has for us today. And just before we jump into the video, just a quick word from our sponsor. DraftHound is an FPL manager's dream, and the best part is it's free to use. There's a full suite of useful tools like fixture analysis that you see here, with winning odds, clean sheet odds, and over 2 goals odds. The one that I use really often is the clean sheet odds, which really helps when I'm stuck between which defender to bench and which defender to start, which, as you guys know, can be the difference between a green and a red arrow. Now aside from this, there's also dream teams based on predicted points, which is also where the data for today's video has come from. And dream teams is also pretty accurate in picking out some good differentials and budget picks for the run-in. For the stats junkies, if you'd like an in-depth analysis on a player, then Player Rankings is the place to go, where DraftHound lets you analyze predicted points and also compare the probability of their goal involvement. So you guys get the idea. There's loads of useful tools in DraftHound, and I won't cover every single one, but I have to highlight my favorite feature before we get back to the video, and that is this assistant manager tool, where you can import your own FPL team, and DraftHound literally manages your team for you by suggesting potential transfers and optimizing your lineup for you to gain maximum points. So I cannot recommend DraftHound enough, and the best part is it's a guaranteed green arrow because you support the channel and also get an excellent FPL tool all for free. So start tinkering now. Head over to drafthound.link/FPL consult or the first link in the description to create an account today. Now in goal, we're going to go with Kepa first. Now Kepa plays Nottingham Forest at home, and of course Chelsea are now slightly turning a corner. I would say that Kepa is also playing a little bit better in recent games. Chelsea also have started to pick up a win against Bournemouth 3-1, right? And of course, if Kepa manages to keep a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest, he will usually get a lot of save points as well and bonus points to go with that. So of course, 4.2 predicted points actually puts Kepa at the highest above all the other keepers in terms of predicted points. Now in the back line we have 3 defenders, so this is a 3-4-3 formation that the model has gone for, and the 3 defenders of choice: Trippier, Trent and Estupiñán. So covering the single game week player first, who is Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think a lot of us are in situations where we may not be able to play Trent this week because some of us have Botman, maybe Trippier and then Estupiñán, and that's your back 3 already. But the model actually thinks that Trent is in store for quite a number of returns. Now 5.9 predicted points for Trent is actually the highest out of all the single game week players or single game week defenders for that matter. So Trent has been playing very, very well. I think it is plain to see as well the number of assists he's getting in recent games. The positions he's taking up is very, very encouraging from an attacking perspective. And also defensively, Liverpool seem to have kind of strengthened a little bit in their defense and a little bit sharper in defense. So coming off a couple of clean sheets, I think Trent can also get some bonus points as well if he does get attacking returns against a Leicester side who has looked really, really poor. Right, so I do expect big things from Trent this week, and if you are able to fit him in, do start Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, either side of him, there's Trippier and Estupiñán, both with double game weeks. Trippier arguably with the slightly better double game week, and that's why he has 10.3 predicted points. He plays Leeds and then he plays Brighton. Well, Brighton instead, they play Arsenal away and Newcastle away. So that is slightly tougher, a slightly tougher set of fixtures for Estupiñán, right? So not a great double game week, and kind of a pick that I would understand some people wanting to bench Estupiñán, right? Because Brighton have not been keeping a lot of clean sheets, and especially coming off that 5-1 loss against Everton, it probably wouldn't give us a lot of confidence that Brighton will keep clean sheets. So 6.8 predicted points here for Estupiñán, I think is a little bit generous from the model, but that probably is because the model factors in the attacking threat of Estupiñán as well, which has been really high. It has been consistently high since we brought him in maybe in Game Week 26 as well. So Estupiñán, 6.8 predicted points is probably due to his attacking threat, but I do think like clean sheets will be quite hard to get for Estupiñán in Game Week 36. As for Trippier, I think against Leeds, against a Sam Allardyce Leeds side, I do think like there will be a clean sheet there for him. Against Brighton, maybe not so, right? But 10.3 predicted points, I guess Trippier could outscore this, right? If he does keep a clean sheet against Leeds and possibly get an attacking return there, then obviously in one single game, he's already going to outscore that 10.3 predicted points for him, right? So hopefully we are expecting big things from Trippier, who has dropped in ownership a little bit. So those of us who still have Trippier and are starting him, of course, in Game Week 36, we will be hoping for big things from Trippier. So next up in midfield, we have 2 double game week players and we also have 2 single game week players. So Salah and Rashford are the single game week players, and of course they are also the players with one of the higher predicted points this week in terms of midfielders for those with single game weeks. Now Wolves at home for Marcus Rashford, I do think like Wolves have looked really good at home, but their away form is still really poor, and of course Manchester United are pushing for the top 4 places and it is kind of in jeopardy at this point in time, so they will want to put their strongest foot forward and get as many goals as they can, and of course if that happens, Marcus Rashford will be at the forefront of that. Now Salah as well, same for him, pushing for top 4 as well. Leicester away, as I mentioned, have looked really poor. They just conceded a huge number of goals against Fulham, right? A Fulham side that doesn't even have Mitrovic and doesn't even have Andreas Pereira, and they conceded so many goals against them. So Leicester just look really poor defensively, and of course we would hope that Salah will capitalize on that. 7.5 predicted points for Salah. Now the 2 double gaming players in midfield are pretty obvious for this week. Is Mitoma and McAllister. Obviously Solly March has pulled up his hamstring and is no longer fit. It probably we may not see him until the end of the season. It remains to be seen how serious the injury is, but of course I think Game Week 36 will come too soon for him, and that just leaves Mitoma and McAllister as the next 2 best Brighton attackers to go for. Mitoma, of course, he hasn't gotten as many points as we would want him to get, right? And he has been slightly unlucky, I would have to say. He's gotten loads of chances, right? But in this double game week, he is predicted to score 9.5 predicted points, so hopefully all his chances will be converted and he will be able to at least match this tally of 9.5 predicted points. Same for McAllister as well. I guess McAllister owners have been slightly fortunate in some of his goals recently. The penalty against Manchester United that came in the injury time, and of course that goal that ricocheted off him against Everton as well, right? But 9.3 predicted points does look very promising for McAllister, but do bear in mind that Brighton play Arsenal away and Newcastle away, and both of these are difficult fixtures, and usually in difficult fixtures McAllister would drop back a little bit and play a more defensive role. So do bear in mind that he could be playing in the number 6 role, which may dampen his attacking threat quite a bit. Now finally up front, I think this is a forward line that we can all agree together with the model as well, that Erling Haaland, Callum Wilson and Alexander Isak, they're all predicted to do really well. This double Newcastle attack as well, a lot of us have been trying to pivot to this. Maybe some of us have a Botman or a Shah in defense and are trying to change that extra defender into an additional forward in Callum Wilson, right, together with Isak. Now this double Newcastle attack is predicted to do really well, especially since they play Leeds and also Brighton as their second double game week fixture, but they do play Brighton at home, right? And at home Newcastle are really strong. So in general this week, both of them are predicted to do really well. 11.1 for Wilson, 11.3 for Isak, and that's why he slightly edges it with the captain's armband based on the model's predictions. But in terms of minutes, I do think like there are some discussions to be had here about how secure either of their minutes are. Now, Callum Wilson, when he plays, and if he does get the same amount of minutes as Alexander Isak, I do think like he is the better pick. But that said, I think Isak is slightly better for expected minutes. So there is quite a little bit of a conundrum going on here about how what kind of factors we should consider when going for either of Isak or Wilson. And it is a difficult decision, but in general, we could potentially get some leaks because Leeds and Newcastle are the early kickoff on Saturday. So hopefully we do get it, but of course we can't always rely on leaks. So just based off of thinking who is more secure for minutes moving forward against Leicester in Game Week 37 as well, we may want this Newcastle attacker. So if I were to choose one, I think I am slightly leaning towards Isak for the moment. But of course, if something gives me confidence that Wilson is going to get equally the same amount of minutes as Isak, then I do want Wilson instead, right? So I'm slightly leaning towards Isak for the time being. Let me know which of these attackers you guys are going for, or whether you have both of them. And then of course we have Erling Haaland, who is kind of inevitable, and we have to have him in every draft. You're going to start him against Everton away, 8.5 predicted points. Hopefully Man City are able to do well against Everton, who are coming off a really good performance against Brighton, as we just saw that 5-1 win, right? So Erling Haaland is predicted to score against Everton, so let's see how that goes. We may see a response from a strong response from Everton to that Man City threat, right? So it remains to be seen how it will be done. And also do bear in mind that Real Madrid is on the horizon for Erling Haaland after this Everton game, so he could potentially be benched or maybe rested early. We'll see how it goes, but the model does give him 8.5 predicted points. So in general, taking a look at this whole team, 6 double game week players, 3 from Newcastle, 3 from Brighton, and they are predicted, this whole team is predicted to score 102.7 predicted points. So that is really high, and I know this team is actually something that quite some managers can reach, right? Because all of us are in positions where we have this midfield, this back line as well, and this front three. I guess you could argue that you may have to take a couple of hits here and there to fit Wilson in, or a double Newcastle attack, but in general this team is reachable, and it is something that I have seen a couple of drafts on Twitter being able to attain this team. So 102 predicted points by DraftHound, which has been pretty accurate in general. I think if you are able to get to this team, it is looking very promising. So let me know what you guys think of this team, and let me know if you disagree or agree with some of the picks here. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. We're almost going to hit 4,000 subscribers, so hopefully by the time you're watching this we would have hit 4,000 already. But in general, thank you so much for the support this season, and I will see you guys in more Game Week 36 content very soon.